Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, good morning. How are you doing?
Skip Bayless, I just want you to know now, I ain't a minister, but I'm going to bring that word today. I'm going to bring that word to your Cowboys now.
I would like to officially, publicly announce I have recovered from the Monday nightmare. I am good now. I am back driving the Cowboy bandwagon, and I do still think they're going to win the NFC East. Here we go.
You must have had an intervention last night.
I did not. I had a revelation. God spoke to me.
Okay.
I cannot
you
wait
need to
to
speak
hear
to the
it.
Cowboys.
Because, guys, there is drama in Dallas. Despite leading the NFC East, trouble is brewing. At just 2-4, Cowboys players have reportedly begun to express their frustrations with the coaching staff. One player reportedly said Mike McCarthy's staff is, quote, totally unprepared. And another player simply put it, they just aren't good at their jobs. Shannon, is coaching the problem with the Cowboys right now?
No, these are players making excuses, Skip. And Jerry Jones is the reasons why, because he's always allowed the players to make the coach the fall guy, because he's also made the coach the fall guy. That's why he's had so many of those guys since Jimmy Johnson when they were... Go ahead.
Well, he kept Jason Garrett for like 3 decades of 8 and 8s, but go ahead.
And he was the fall guy, right? Because every time something went wrong, he never...
Not for Jerry, but for the public, for Cowboy Nation.
Because when things went well, they were winning in spite of Jerry. I mean, in spite of Jason. But the moment something went wrong, he done the old 8 and 8 Jason Garrett. That's what they named him. You nicknamed him.
I did
exactly. That. You're proud of yourself for that, Skip. But the players are disregarding their responsibility, Skip, and what are you supposed to be doing in this? Skip, coaches can teach you 2 things. They can teach you alignment. They can say, son, this is where you need to line up at. This is where I need you. I need you 8 yards. I need you in the shade. I need you in a 3 technique. I need you in a cowboy, which is a 9 technique. Or I need you in a 7. We can teach you that. Corners, we can line up outside, line up inside.
Yep.
We can teach you assignment.
Okay.
Assignment is another word for Skip, responsibility. That's what we can teach you. Alignment, assignment, your responsibility. I can't teach you effort, Skip. I don't really like to do this, Skip. I really don't, because I think sometimes the players play hard. But I need people to take a look at this. I pulled a couple of tapes, a couple of clips. This explains why the Cowboys defense is so porous. The first one is the OBJ. Now, Skip, we commended Alton Smith. We commended him, saying he made OBJ bubble. His job is not to make OBJ bubble. His job is to contain it. Yeah. He has contained.
Sure.
His responsibility is not to make OBJ bubble. His responsibility is to contain him, which is not let him outside. What happens, Skip? He lets him outside. Now, you tell me the effort. You got 2 guys from the Cowboys, Skip, run out of bounds. You do realize OBJ has the football. And you running out of bounds does not say, okay, well, we ran out of bounds, OBJ. You run out here and meet us. Skip, the next play, look at Kenyon Drake's run. Now, there's a responsibility here. Now, all they try to do, Skip, is just try to run time out, maybe get a first down on 3rd and 4. Now, I'm going to show you the end zone copy. I'm going to let you show from the Cardinals. Look at this. Skip, get in the A-gap. You got 2 linebackers and a safety. Somebody's supposed to hit the A-gap, Skip.
What was the score at that point?
Skip, that's why.
31 to...
Skip.
To 10. Was it 10 yet,
Skip.
or 3? 31 to 3?
Skip, what did I tell you? You learn more about your players in a loss than you ever do in a win.
Q-U-I-T.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so you can't pick apart a tape in which the defense has Q-U-I-T.
No, but I want to know, why are they Q-U-I-T? That's what I need to know. I'm going to show you one more, Skip, and then I'm going to look at this touchdown run, the touchdown pass to Christian Kirk. Now, Skip, I don't really like to get tape. But Skip, they're in the cover 1. They cover 3 single high safety. Now, they got a guy that got zoned, that got hooked to flat, and they got this guy, the guy that's running the fastest behind the guy with the ball. I got a good indication he's at fault. Now, we're going to freeze it right here. Freeze it. You see, Skip, if you get an opportunity to run that back, Skip, you got the up guy. He has hooked the flat. Worley has deep third. You tell me why in the hell are you 2 yards behind a guy that has to hook the flat when you're supposed to be in the deep third?
Better question. Why is Darryl Worley on the field in the first place? Every time I look up, 28 is chasing somebody. Help me out.
Well, Skip, look, maybe they're short some DBs, but they're alive. Remember, I told you. Put C.D. Lamb in there. You drafted him. Just let CD play that, because I told you what you needed. But you didn't want to hear that. You wanted the strength of the strength. Skip, it's easy to do this. And Jerry has allowed players for the longest time to abdicate their responsibility in what they should be doing and blame the head coach. It's like a guy, Skip, that's been in a relationship, he gets a divorce, and the same problems he said his previous wife had, the new wife is giving him the same problem. What about you, bro? What is your responsibility? Why is it that the same situation that was in the previous relationship has arisen again? When it's two different scenarios, we get the same thing. We got two different head coaches, two different defensive coordinators, two different line coaches, and the same problem is arising. But somehow it's the coach's responsibility. Now, Skip, I'm not saying that maybe there's a disconnect. Maybe between what the coaches are saying and the players are understanding, maybe there's a disconnect there. But let me tell you how we did it, Skip. When things were in Denver, we always installed the run game, offensive line, and everybody, the whole offense was together, and then we would break up. But sometimes, Skip, before we would okay, you had tight ends had a meeting room, the wide receivers and running backs had a meeting room. But when things weren't going well, Mike says, hold up. I need everybody to hear the same language. I need everybody to know this is what we're thinking. This is why we're calling this play. This is what, Shannon, we need you to do. 84, 80, this is what we need you to do. TD, this is what we need you to do. So come game time, Skip, I'm in okay, look here, guy. Hey, John, I'm hot. Rod, you remember you got hot. TD. Hey, that guy cheating down, you got him. So we're communicating, Skip. So something is being lost in translation. Either what the coaches are saying is not resonating, or Skip, what we call football IQ. The players just can't learn it. Whatever the problem is, it needs to get fixed. But to blame the coaches 6 weeks into the season when you see the effort that they're putting on tape, Skip, nah, I'm not going to let y'all do that, players.
Well, I'm about to second that emotion. It is time for Jerry Jones to drop the mic. And I'm talking about dropping the mic, who is the defensive coordinator. It is time to fire Mike Nolan now. I have seen enough. You have seen enough. Something is very, very wrong here. This defense has allowed more points than any pro football team since the 1961 Oakland Raiders through the first 6 games. More than any since those Raiders, who went 2-12 playing their home games across the bay in San Francisco at Candlestick Park. They were horribly bad. They got run off the field every game. And this defense is on pace to even be worse than that one. 1961. Something went completely wrong here. And I did first guess this because I said, how do you go get a Mike Nolan who hasn't been a defensive coordinator since 2014 in Atlanta, and he was 2012, 13, and 14 in Atlanta, and his defenses finished in 2012 24th in yards allowed, 2013 27th in yards allowed, and 2014 dead last in yards allowed. Those were his last 3 years as a DC. And then he was out for a year. He was a linebacker coach in San Diego for a year. Then he was in New Orleans the last 3 years as a linebacker coach. It's cronyism at its worst, because once upon a time, when Mike Nolan was the head coach of the 49ers, and by the way, he was not outstanding as a head coach, because his 4 years he went as head coach of the 49ers starting in 05. He went 4-12, 7-9, 5-11, and then 2-5 the next year and got fired. So let's just keep it in perspective. You knew Mike Nolan because he did coach with your Broncos way back when.
He was there when I got there in 1990.
And his father was also on your staff, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't Dick Nolan on the staff?
It might have been way before I got there.
It wasn't much before you got there.
But Mike was with me in Baltimore also.
Also. He had some good moments back in the 90s when he coached Dan Reeves' defense and the Giants. Okay, I give you that. And Jerry Jones just raves about his football IQ.
Yes.
Nobody can talk ball better than Mike Nolan. They're not hearing or they're not listening. They have tuned him out. And I believe in Jane Slater's report. I know it was only a couple of guys speaking anonymously, but the flashpoint quote is, the coaches don't teach. They don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. Okay, now, why am I so down on Mike Nolan? Because I got to tell you, I still look back at the start of the year. The odds makers had the Dallas Cowboys as the fourth best team in the NFC. So they had the fourth best odds to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC.
Right.
Almost every prognosticator picked them to win the NFC East.
They still might.
Okay, they still might. But to Jerry's credit, he said yesterday, I'm not going to look at this as manna from heaven because we're still in first place in the East. He said, this is not a feel-good moment for me. But I thought he was between the lines, subplot. I thought what Jerry was trying to say yesterday was he was also condemning both of his mics as coaches, so he could drop two mics here. He said, we still have the ability to rally here. He said, I still think we have the talent to make the adjustment. So he's saying it's there, it's just not being coached well enough.
But you see what Jerry did? Let me ask you, if you don't mind me asking, Skip, who shop for the groceries? So if the meal don't come out right, I bought him A-quality grocery. I went to Whole Foods. I got him the best organic stuff that money can buy. Jerry Jones got the talent. So Jerry Jones is advocating. It's not me. It's y'all guys. I gave you great talent. You saw what he did there, Skip?
Over the last decade, what team has the second most Pro Bowlers to the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones' team. And he shopped for all those groceries, right? Okay, you got to give him some credit.
I give him credit, but Skip, what's happening is that every year we come out here, the Cowboys got this, the Cowboys got that. When we haven't yet to see them put that together.
Help me out here.
Yes.
So last night, I came back to my senses, and I started thinking about my defense.
Yes.
This is historically bad. It's off the charts bad. It's incomprehensibly, inexplicably wrong. Aldon Smith has been a revelation. He's still playing at a high level and on your bubble play. He did the best he could. He stayed he stayed in a contained position. He's 280 pounds. You can't expect him to outquick Odell if Odell goes backward. He went 20 yards deep. He bubbled it completely out. He bent it like Beckham, as the movie said.
Yes.
He bent it back 20 yards.
Yes.
Then it's up to everybody else on the defense, especially your linebackers, to get home, to at least meet him at the line of scrimmage, because that play should have lost 5 yards.
25.
Okay, maybe, but at least I'm being conservative.
Right.
You should have met him with a cavalry, right? A cavalry at 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. There should have been 8 or 10 guys there waiting for him, right? Okay, so we have Aldon Smith, who just a week ago made the Pro Football Focus weekly All-Pro team. We have DeMarcus Lawrence, again, overpaid at $21 million. You can make a case. He has made Pro Bowls like Aldon Smith has made Pro Bowls, right? He just made the Pro Football Focus weekly All-Pro team for the Giants game. Okay, then we have Everson Griffin, who they stole right at the, just before the season started. They acquired Everson Griffin. He made the Pro Bowl last year. Help me out. So that's 3 right there.
Right.
Ty Crawford is another starter inside that defensive line. He started 77 games for my Cowboys. Now, I got to tell you, he's been a pretty good player for them for a long time.
Did you look at Ty Crawford's stat line on Monday night?
I got it.
20s plus plays, zeros across the board.
They also went out and got Dontari Poe, who is a former Pro Bowl player and a run stopper.
Yes.
Okay, they're historically bad against the run. They're barely second, allowing rush yards to the Texans, who are off the charts bad. Okay, so you have Dontari Poe, and then you have 2 linebackers who have made the Pro Bowl, and now one is back, the Wolf Hunter.
Yes.
And Jalen Smith, just a week ago, made the Pro Football Focus weekly All-Pro team. Okay, I just gave you Pro Bowls everywhere in the front 7. And by the way, Sean Lee is due back this week. I don't know, on a short week where they got to fly to Washington. I don't know if he'll be able to play. But Awuzie, a starting corner, is due back this week. So they didn't have those 2. But my point is, I just gave you too many reasons why you can't be allowing the most points since 1961 through the first 6 games. Coaching, disconnect. Something is very wrong. It sounds like a mutiny to me. It sounds like they are quitting on the new DC who probably should not be the new DC.
If you don't mind me asking, Skip, you named the guy that went to the Pro Bowl, so let's just take D-Law. Since D-Law went to the Pro Bowl and got that money, you tell me how well he's played. Okay. Evanson Griffin was on the market until the 2 days before they were reporting to camp.
Okay, all I know is he did make the Pro Bowl last year.
But Skip, why was he still available? A guy that's, 31, 32, made the Pro Bowl? Why was he still available 2 days before everybody went to camp? Okay,
you believe he's a bad football player?
Skip,
I don't.
I don't, Skip. But here's the thing, is that if you don't do your responsibility, I don't care how great you are, because if your responsibility is to contain...
Is it scheme? Is it disconnect with the coaches who can't teach the new scheme? Because it was, trust me, it was night and day from the Marinelli, Chris Richard scheme.
Skip, in Rod's system, Rod Marinelli, Skip, they play the run on the way to the quarterback.
They do.
The worst thing you can have...
And it mostly worked except for a playoff game out here at the Coliseum 2 years ago. Go ahead.
Skip, the worst thing you can have happen as a defensive player is to play bad football and make a good play. If you look at D-Law, he made a lot of plays, but he was abdicating his responsibility. Now it's coming back to bite him in the butt. If you look at the Christian Kirk first touchdown when they pitch it, D-Law has contained. Can I get that, Skip? I want you to show. I want to show this. Pull this up for me. Pull this up for me. Because I want you to see. I want you to see this. Now, D-Law has contained, Skip. Why is he inside? He has contained.
How do you know that? I think you can't know that. Seriously, I think you can't know that unless you interview those people and find out what the defense called.
Let me tell you what.
You never know. You never know. I know this because I've been doing it for a long time. And if I wrote that back in the day, somebody could come to me and say, you have no idea what defense got called there. Just for the record.
Skip Bayless, are you telling me my 14 years of playing this game?
I'm saying you never know. You never know. I know.
I tell you what to do. I tell you what they do. If I'm lying, if any Cowboy player says, Shannon Sharp, you don't know what the hell you talk about, write it.
Okay, write it. You don't know. You can't know. You can't know.
Skip, what it is,
you just can't know. You can't know.
Skip, you're upset. You want Mike Nolan gone. I know what they're doing is wrong. You can't tell me. You covered it. I was in the huddle.
Okay.
I was in the locker room.
Yeah.
I was in the meeting room.
You weren't in this.
They are wrong.
You were not in this huddle, and you weren't in this meeting room.
I know that defense.
You just, Shannon, you were not.
I know that defense.
You do not know that defense. You have no idea what got called.
Oh, my goodness, Skip.
You don't know. I'm sorry, you don't know.
Skip.
No,
I
I'm
know
sorry.
You want Mike Nolan gone.
No, well, that's not the point of this.
Yes, it is.
Okay,
because what you're trying to do is place all the blame on him, and you're abdicating those guys' responsibilities. Skip.
Okay. They don't teach, says the quote to Jane Slater. Something didn't connect here. They're not getting. They're asking both Aldon Smith and DeMarcus Lawrence to stand up on the edge and edge rush from a standing position without their hand in the dirt. They're not used to it, and somehow it didn't go in their head right. They're not comfortable with it, and something is not working here. And I say, Chris Richard, I thought he was a head coaching candidate. He actually interviewed for the Giants job that Joe Judge got. He's still sitting out there, I assume being paid by Jerry Jones. I would like to see him back in power here running the defense because I liked it better under Chris Richard.
You said you liked it better, but you said they weren't doing their job. So there was a disconnect between Mike Nolan. There's a disconnect between Chris Richard and Rod Marinelli. At what point in time is the players not learning their job, Skip? When is that?
I don't know. And then how about Clinton Dix? I was so excited about the signing of him. You realize they gave him more money than they gave Andy Dalton?
Yes.
They gave him $4 million?
Yes.
And then before the season started, Mike Nolan, I assume, signed off on, nope, I don't love it. He's 27 years old. He has made a Pro Bowl before. Why isn't he in the starting lineup right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did I not beat my fist on the table for Earl Thomas? Did I not do that?
Yeah.
Where is Earl Thomas? I don't care what baggage he has. This baggage is way worse than all of his combined.
Skip, you do realize the Cowboys was going to be Clinton Dix 15? So Green Bay
played for Mike McCarthy.
Green Bay said no. I think Chicago said no. I think Cleveland
Are you saying
said no.
yes to our man Xavier Woods? He's a great kid. He's a great kid, and he started a bunch of games now. He's got 39 starts as a Cowboy. He's just another guy. I'm sorry. They actually made a lineup change the other day. They actually elevated Donovan Wilson up into the starting lineup. And I liked him at Texas A&M, but he lasted until the 6th round because he can't run. But he made a lot of plays for Texas A&M, and he would flash on my TV. So they finally put him in the starting lineup. Is that going to change life at Washington? I don't know. But I still say the front 7 is good enough. If Sean Lee comes back and Awuzie comes back at corner, yep, they're good enough. Yes, they are. To be respectable enough to win the NFC East, yes.
I want to show one more play. Can we get the long run by DeAndre Hopkins? This is the coach's fault. Because I won't Skip Bayless because Skip says, Shannon, you don't.
This is an effort play by Jalen Smith. It's Jalen Smith.
No,
Jalen Smith just.
That's the coach.
Nope, he just quit on this play.
That's coaching.
Okay, remember, when did that come in the game?
Skip.
They lost at home 38-10. The whole second half was a quit half.
That explains why the Cowboys are in the position they're in.
Here's the other problem. Guess how many snaps my defense has played with the lead this year? Help me out. Does it matter in your psyche? Yeah, it matters in your psyche. They have played a total of 67 snaps with the lead. They have played 247 snaps while trailing. Help me out. It's horrendously hard on you because the offense keeps coughing up the football at the highest rate in the league. They have 15 turnovers, and your defense doesn't take the ball away. So they are running away with the turnover differential. And you're short fielding Kyler Murray twice in the first half thanks to my man Ezekiel Elliott, who coughed it up twice. Do you know how hard it is to play defense like that on sudden change, short field?
Even if your offense coughs the ball up, there's not a prerequisite. You have to let the team score. You're okay. It's okay. It's a lot to keep them out of the end zone.
But if it keeps happening and happening, I thought my defense actually played very well the first 3 possessions. They were all over the field. Kyler Murray was having a hard time. And then cough, and short field touchdown, and then QUIT quit.
Yeah, and also, they played only 67 snaps with the lead. But if the team gets the ball first and they go right down the field and score, hell, yes.
Okay.
You're behind.
All right, now to Mike McCarthy. How did he make his name in this game? What was he known for pre-Green Bay? What was he known for? Calling.
Yeah.
Help me out. Does he call my plays?
No.
He does not because, wait a second. Oh, yeah, Kellen Moore. Oh, yeah, he's the holdover who Dak loved.
Right.
Okay, as much as I love Dak Prescott, with Kellen Moore calling his plays, in Dak's last 17 starts for this franchise, he was 6-11.
Right.
Is that working? Again, Michael Lombardi, who writes for The Athletic, he criticized this whole scheme right now on offense because he said Kellen Moore is calling it like it's a video game. You have splash plays, but you don't have a big picture chess game plan where you're trying to set up a play or you're trying to possess the football, right? Okay, I do agree with that because Dak had a lot of splash plays after they were behind 21-0, right? Okay, so why wouldn't Mike McCarthy, speaking of dropping a mic, why wouldn't he say, you know what, it's time for me to earn my keep here. I'll take over the play calling, and let's see if we can turn Andy Dalton into more of a game manager.
Especially since Dak is not the quarterback.
Correct.
I understand the relationship that Kellen Moore and Dak had.
I got it.
No Dak.
I got it. I totally agree. It's time to just flip the script because as weak as it sounds, as embarrassing as it is, you can still build toward next year by winning this NFC East, and it is winnable. If you go 5-1 in the division, which is highly possible, if you go 5-1, I think you got a great shot at winning the division. So could they split with Philly? Sure, they could split with Philly and win the home game. Could they beat the Giants twice and the Redskins? Yes, I mean, the Washington football team twice, yes.
But maybe we overvalue Mike McCarthy because he had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
You could make a case. And by the way, Mike McCarthy in his last 34 games is 13-20-1. So is he the solution to the problem? I don't know.
Well, Jerry thought he was.
That's he does have a Super Bowl ring, but it was a long time ago. Right?
And you said that guy went on a historic run to help get him that Super Bowl, that quarterback.
Well, I didn't go that far.
Oh, did you?
It was a road wild card team.
Did you see what he did to Atlanta?
That was a good game. That was the one great game he had.
Did you see him in the Super Bowl?
Did you see what he didn't do to Philly? Did you see what he didn't do to Chicago in that run? Just go check it out. We'll talk about it in a few minutes here on the show.
No mercy.
Well, it's officially Tua time. The Dolphins this morning named Tua Tagovailoa the starter when they return from their bye and face the Rams Week 8. When asked why they're turning to the rookie QB after winning 2 straight, one source said, quote, "It's just time." So, Shannon, will Tua be the Dolphins' best quarterback since Dan Marino?
I believe so. But, Skip, I was surprised by this move. And what this move tells me that they had planned this all along. They said week 7, week 8, going into the bye week, Tua is going to be our quarterback. Now, I don't know if they anticipated being 3-3. Now, it's easier to make this move, Skip, if you're 2-4 or you're 1-5, 0-6. It's a lot easier to make this move. But you're 3-3. And Fitzpatrick had played really, really well leading up to the bye week. Yep. So I was surprised that they made this move, but I'm not shocked. But it tells me this was their plan all along. We're going to get him some reps. In practice, he's probably looking good in practice. The medical staff says he's 100% fully healed. And they're looking for me, but Skip, if I'm in that locker room and I'm a veteran player, I'm disappointed. Because I believe at this very moment with Fitzpatrick playing as well as he is, and I still have a chance to win that division, I ain't thinking about no damn future. That future, I might not even be here for the future. I'm talking about right now. And right now, Skip, we're smack dab in the hunt of being in contention for the AFC East. And so I like the way Fitzpatrick has played. But when you take a guy, and Ryan Fitzpatrick understands this, when you take a guy that high, and there's only one guy can play at a time, you know it's just a matter of time. Yep. Now, sometimes you're able to hold that guy off, and then they wait till the end of the season, and they move on. Skip, this reminds me of a situation that the Giants had. You remember they had Kurt Warner. They took Eli Manning with the #1 pick overall. Kurt started the season, but I think about 9 games in, they were 5-4. And Tom Coughlin's like, okay, I've seen enough. I know what Kurt is. We're moving on. They inserted Eli. It worked out quite well for the Giants. I think the Miami Dolphins are hoping for the same scenario. Ryan Fitzpatrick, you did a great job carrying the torch, but now it's Tua's time. And so, for me, as I said, to reiterate it, it seems to me that Brian Flores and his staff and the organization said, at the bye week, we're going to Tua. If he's clear, if the doctor says he's 100% healthy, this is the direction that we're going in. We took this guy for a reason, Skip. We didn't take him to sit him on the shelf entirely for a year. If he's healthy, he's playing. He's healthy, he's playing.
So you and I have argued about this from the start, and I said from the start, if you spent the 5th pick on him and you believe he's 100% healthy, you have to throw him into the fire sooner than later. I would have done it game 1 if he showed me in whatever camp they had that he looked 100% healthy. You almost had to do this to stop the momentum of Fitzmagic, because if you let him go on, he's still capable of winning the division for you.
Yes.
Maybe it's one of those magical runs.
Yes.
And I don't know where that gets you, because it doesn't get you towards your goal, which is to go win a Super Bowl with Tua at some point fairly soon, right?
Yes.
So could he be the best quarterback this franchise has had since Dan Marino? Well, obviously, Dan didn't win a Super Bowl. He got to one, unfortunately ran headlong into Joe Montana and the 49ers. But they have had a parade of nobodies at quarterback, and it's a long, ugly parade. So I feel for Dolphin Nation, and I hope that they were right to take this young man, because by all accounts, he is really a great young man. By any account, this would be a great story if he came back from career-threatening hip surgery.
And that was a year ago when it happened in October, right?
Not quite. It was 351 days ago.
Okay.
So it's close to a year.
Okay.
But is it Alex Smith quite coming back? Not quite that bad, but it was career-threatening. And here he is, and here we go. I'm not going to back off my opinion about him coming out of Alabama. What do you always tell me? Hurt in college, hurt in the pros. He was just hurt too much for my radar in college to sign off on him in pro football, because Rex Ryan said on ESPN, I've used this before, but he said he was told he had 5 surgeries. And I think it's probably true he had 5 different surgeries at Alabama, because he broke his left index finger, and I think it took surgery. They reported that he had a sprained right knee. I'll bet you it was a scope. No huge deal, but whatever. Then he had ankle surgeries on both ankles, that tightrope surgery. End of the world? No, not end of the world. You can come back 100%, but you kept getting hurt, which brings us to dislocated right hip with posterior wall fracture. Ah, no good. And it happened on a weird play where it didn't even look that threatening, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so now what do I know about what happened at Alabama? You have to be careful because in the history of college football, no quarterback has ever had the track team of receivers that he was throwing to. None. I dare you to go find better. Maybe some Clemson teams were close. But listen, when you had 2 go in the first round this year, obviously Ruggs and your man Jerry Jeudy, you're going to have 2 go very high in the next draft in Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. And that Mechie kid, I keep telling you, every time I turn on an Alabama game, he gets behind somebody and catches one. I don't know. He's a sophomore this year, but watch him go. He could be a first-round pick. Now let's look at who was catching the ball out of the backfield. Najee Harris is going to be a first-round pick. Okay, so there's another one. And Irv Smith a year ago at tight end was a second-round pick. You want to talk about loaded?
Right.
Come on. I mean, it's silly how many weapons he had. And then do I need to tell you that 2 of the offensive linemen who blocked for him went in the first round?
Top 10.
Top 10, yep. And they're just loaded. It's a pipeline of offensive linemen to pro football.
Right.
So you have to be careful because no quarterback is put in a better position to succeed than the Alabama quarterback.
Right.
Okay? And Sarkisian's pretty good at what he does.
He's done a great job.
He's done a great job. Okay. So now, what did I see? I saw some bad games where he lost his poise, then he got a little happy-footed, then he lost his accuracy, and he just sort of lost his way during the games. And you know what they were? It was the SEC championship game against Georgia in 2018. He went 10 of 25 for 164. His knee was bothering him in the game, but he gets yanked in favor of Jalen Hurts, who then wins the fourth quarter 14-0 and played great and got them into the playoffs, obviously. Then the Clemson game, the national championship game that year, he threw 2 interceptions. He was 22 of 34. It was an okay game, but his QBR was low at 59. Most college QBRs are in the 90s. And then against LSU, I'm not going to ding him much for this game, but the game last year at Alabama, he was 21 of 40, so he's barely above 50%, but he did throw for 418 yards. He did throw an interception. His QBR was 73, which is just ordinary in college football. So my point is, some of the big games, he didn't play his biggest. You always tell me, Baker is not tall enough. He's got to find a lane to throw through. Right. Well, Baker measured at 6'1". Tua measured at exactly 6 feet. Is that going to be a problem going forward?
Well, I think the thing is, Skip, if you look at Kyler, Kyler's shorter than all of them. And Kyler I didn't see him get a ball batted the other night. Nope. So you look at Drew.
He has had some batted,
but you look at Drew Brees, you look at Russell Wilson. They found ways to succeed.
I agree.
Being undersized quarterback, and it made it in vogue. I mean, it's because of Drew Brees and Russell Wilson that now height is not even they don't even care, Skip. Okay. Can you throw the ball? Okay, you can play quarterback. Is Tua more athletic than Baker? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Not that Baker is unathletic. Baker moved a lot better in college than he's moving pro football, and I don't know exactly why, but he's put on some weight. Making all them commercials. Maybe. Could be right. So with Tua, in the end, can he stay healthy? I'm going to knock on wood for him because I hate to even bring it up. But the history would tell you he won't be able to stay healthy. Well, Skip, he's going to have to get rid of the football. I mean, sometimes he tried to hold on to the ball and try to make plays that weren't there, tried to buy some times, live to see another day. But, Skip, you know if you go to Alabama, there are 3 things that's going to happen. You're going to win an SEC title, you'll probably win a national title, and you're going to leave with a surgery on something. Because Coach Saban thuds it up. He does. He makes it tough because he says the games are going to be tough. You practice tough and you practice hard. Skip, and considering where the Dolphins hadn't had a quarterback to make the Pro Bowl since 95. And that was with Danny. Dan Marino was the last quarter, 95. That's the longest tenure in which a team has had a quarterback. Now, San Francisco is coming up they hadn't had one in a very long time either. But at some point in time, they've been looking for a quarterback, Skip, since Dan retired in 2000. Yep. So I hate to rain on their parade, but this is how I felt about Tua coming out. You were bullish. I was skeptical. I still am. Okay. Well, I hope listen, my friend Lee Steinberg, who I know very well, he will not take on a client unless that client is top-notch as a human being. Because he doesn't deal with divas and bad guys and bad actors. He just doesn't. So Mahomes,
Tua, okay. Will they be two peas in a pod? Well, Miami hopes so.
Well, I'm wishing him success. He gonna be just fine. Like I said, the injury thing, obviously, but he can throw the football. He can throw it.
Not a cannon, not a Mahomes arm.
No.
But he can be accurate. He can be very accurate. It's more Brady Montana type velocity.
Actually, he's the greatest, the most efficient and accurate quarterback in college history. Even if you factor in Baker and Kyler, what they did, he was even more accurate than that.
Hey, I might complete a few passes to some of these guys.
Go ahead on, Skip.
Seriously.
I mean, we got a factory wide receiver. Wide receiver, we call it.
It is that.
Yeah, you got Julio and Coop and Ridley.
We're going to be watching him carefully, but his future is bright. And it's just an exciting new era. It's an exciting new era all around. I want to take a step away and talk a little bit about the NBA. The Warriors will be back to full strength next season with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson returning from injury. They also may have another star joining them, with reports saying that Golden State could look to make a deal to acquire the Wizards' Bradley Beal. Beal averaged more than 30 points and 6 assists last season for Washington. So, Shannon, how big of a threat would that be, to the Lakers?
He's Skip, for me, I think he's a great shooter. He's another shooter to add to Klay and Steph, but I don't think it brings anything unique that the Lakers couldn't handle. Do you really want the Lakers to play small ball and put AD at the 5? Is that what you want? So you want Dre, so you're going to say, Draymond, you got AD. Okay, now we got LeBron. You saw when we went small ball, we got the best small ball lineup in basketball because we got a 6'10" and a half guy that can shoot the 3, can get to the mid-range, put the ball on the floor, get all the way to the rack, and if you foul him, going to make he made 93, 94% of his shots in the finals. And then the ultimate small ball assassin, 6'9", playing the point. So, okay, Steph, Klay, you got LeBron. Really, is that what you want, Skip? I think Golden State will be, I'm missing something because everybody's really shoved a lot of their chips on Golden State. Now, you get Giannis or you get somebody like that, okay, now we're talking about something. But I don't see a 3-guard lineup with Draymond causing the Lakers the kind of the problem that everybody else does. Because small ball is something that the Lakers were very good at it. They could go ginormous, as they did with the Portland. They can play small, as they did with Houston. Or, how you want to do it? Oh, y'all want to go small? AD, we're going to start Caruso. AD, you got the 5. Skip, look, I think they're going to be Steph is coming back with something to be like, hold on. Y'all keep talking about all these guys in the top 5. Did y'all forget about me? I got 3 chips. I'm a 2-time MVP. Let me show y'all what y'all talking about all these guys taking these logo 3s and can shoot the ball. Did y'all forget? I created that. I invented that. Klay Thompson, hold on. Y'all know I'm still the best catch and shoot 3-point guy in the basketball, right? Oh, y'all forgot. Okay, I'm going to remind you.
Thank you.
Draymond has something to prove because they're not Draymond. Oh, everybody make cracking jokes, so Draymond's going to come back. He's going to be. But Skip, not with that. And they make it seem like only the Golden State's going to be making moves. Y'all think y'all actually think the Lakers are going to bring back that exact team that won the title intact? No way, no how. Golden State wish you better luck, but y'all ain't trying to see that purple and gold. No way, no how, no day.
Interesting. So, if Golden State does successfully add Bradley Beal to this mix, I think Jenny would have to change her question to, how much would LeBron and company be a threat to Golden State? Because they would be the top dog at that point. No, they wouldn't. They would be the favorite.
I guess, Skip, you still ain't told me who they're going to put on AD. Do you actually believe that 6'6" Draymond would be able to handle Anthony Davis?
I think Kevon Looney's pretty good. Well, he's a first-round pick. He's about 6'9". I think Marquise Chris is pretty good at about 6'9". He was a former first-round pick out of Washington. You could do that if you need to, but the problem is you're asking all the wrong questions. Who are you going to put on Steph and Klay and Bradley? Because you can't.
Gobble them up.
Is LeBron going to guard one of them? No, he can't guard any of them. I'm sorry.
Who's going to guard LeBron?
I just told you, you're going to have to outscore them, and you can't. You're going to have a problem because they are going to rain threes on you from everywhere.
It'll be a layup line.
From everywhere.
It'll be a layup line.
This would be the greatest outside shooting team you've ever seen.
No question.
Yeah.
No question
No
about
question.
it. But you know it's
Bombs away.
You know it's going to be a layup line for LeBron, right? Can you imagine
You know what? Klay Thompson might have something to say about that. He just might.
Skip, don't do that. Klay is a phenomenal talent, but we haven't seen the guy. And like I said, in the regular season, Skip, you know, look, we got Golden State one night, and then you go to Portland, and you Sacramento, and then you back at home.
Yep.
So, but in a 7-game series?
Bradley Beal coming off a career year in which he averaged 31 points and 6 assists.
So
career.
Remind you now, that's no John Wall. So you got to be careful pairing guys, all these guys. Steph Curry got to get his touches. Your guy, you just mentioned, Klay got to get his touches. Bradley Beal got to get his touches. There's only so many touches, Skip. So many touches. See, we got the perfect pairing. We got a big, got a small. That's why Magic and Kareem work so well together. That's why Shaq and Kobe work so well together. We wasn't getting in each other's way.
This would be very interesting.
Repeat. Hey, Jenny, hold up. Anybody out there?
Wait, did you say three-peat?
I said repeat.
Oh, okay.
If Pete and repeats on the fence and Pete fell off, who was left, Skip?
Three-peat.
Repeat. A repeat. A repeat.
Yeah.
That's what
I want to hear you say three-peat.
No. Skip. No. We got a move. We got a move that you don't know about yet.
Yeah.
We got one.
Wait, LeBron's going to get younger?
See, there you go. See, there you always talk. You talking about LeBron. This is Rob Pelinka. This is his expertise.
Yeah.
Now, he might come to us and say, okay, what you think about this? And we're like, okay, I like that, Rob. I like it. And like, nah. But we gonna make a move. And it's a move.
You realize that at some point late next year, probably in the playoffs, LeBron James will pass Karl Malone for most minutes ever played in an NBA career. Ever played.
Yeah.
That's a lot of miles on those legs.
And do you remember, do you know, like, sometimes in the next 2 years, he gonna pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the most points. That's a lot of points.
And what will it matter in the GOAT debate? None. The GOAT debate ended a long time ago.
First of all, ain't no more GOAT debates. We the GOAT. So who we gonna debate with?
We
the GOAT.
So are you with it, like combined, you're linked up with him?
LeBron James is the GOAT. And so anytime you say LeBron, you say we, you say us. So, Skip, if you want to have a discussion, talk to yourself. But there's no more debate. My guy is the GOAT. That's final. And I will have no more comments on that subject.
Okay. Well, my final comment on Golden State going into next year, if they add Bradley Beal, is my own lone concern is Draymond Green.
Yeah.
He has now joined Team LeBron, and I don't love it.
Why you don't love it?
Got a little too buddy-buddy with LeBron and Maverick and Rich and Randy, and he's become another horseman. I don't know how many horsemen are there. 7 horsemen?
No, there are 5 of us. Draymond ain't the horseman with us. Now, they got the package. They got Andrew Wiggins on a nice, we say nice contract, make it $40 million. I don't know he worth that. But they got the number 2.
But you can swap those contracts with Bradley Beal.
Right, and you got the number 2 overall pick.
And you got Minnesota's 1 and 2 the next year.
Yeah, so you got, and I want all of them.
Well, you got it.
I want all of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it like OKC did the Clippers.
So it's funny to me because a week ago you were salivating over Bradley Beal to the Lakers.
Nah, that's a whole different ballgame. Because now we got a spacer. We got a guy that can get down here and kick it. And then we got AD, so it'll be over. I mean, if we got Bradley Beal, 3P, 3, maybe a 4P.
LeBron's just going to play forever.
No. But Skip, we could. At that point in time, by the time we get to the 4P, we gonna be mainly doing try to get like 16 points, like 14 assists. That's what we gonna be doing, just feeding Bradley Beal and AD. It'll be their team then. We be good. We be already done got 5 finals MVPs, so 6 and 7, we let them, hey, y'all get that thing, we good. 7 in 13 years, 7 in 13. With 40,000 points, 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds. What would be the discussion? What would be the discussion at that point in time? With 7 titles, 5 finals MVPs. What would be that with 40,000, 10 and 10? What would be the discussion at that point in time? Why would I even talk to you about it to go?
6 finals losses?
Why would I even talk to you about anything about basket or ball?
7 and 6 versus 6 and 0?
13. That may have been growing a bit. And when we thought nobody could ever go to many if Russell.
And
here
you've
we
just
are.
gotten completely carried away, and you're giving LeBron James 2 more championships without another loss in the championship, which could always happen. Because remember, there's this guy, the best player on the planet is now in Brooklyn. It's Kevin Durant.
Don't do that.
And the best ball handler is in Brooklyn, and the best clutch shooter at the end of games is in Brooklyn. So it's KD, Kyrie.
They don't need a coach.
They don't need a coach. And you could be in big trouble in the finals up against that guy because KD shut you down twice in the finals, looked you right in the eye, and shot you out of your own gym twice. MVP of the finals.
KD was fabulous. But this notion that he shut LeBron down when LeBron averaged a triple-double and was 6 assists away from averaging a triple-double again in the high 30s. That's what he averaged. He was, 34, 12, and 10? And then he was 34, 33, 11, and 9?
And
no, that's not shut down.
Swept.
That's not shut down.
And he got gentleman swept.
That's not shut down. But that's why you think Golden State went and got him? That's why Golden State went and got him.
Yep.
Because they know they couldn't see us without him.
But there's still a lot of championship pride left in that Golden State locker room, including the head coach.
Well, hold on, what you think we got? We got the title. We got the belt.
Well,
Come see us.
You got a cubic zirconia title.
We got the belt.
You got a cheap one.
So to answer your question.
You got the COVID championship.
So is that what you said?
Congratulations.
So is baseball and football going to have it? Because they got it, because they've been postponing games and guys have been out. So is this going to be a 4 title? Oh, is this going to be a 4 title? So Tom Brady wins the title, it's 4. Right?
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, interesting.
So tougher finals opponent, Miami for you guys or the Tampa Bay Rays for the LA Dodgers? Help me out.
I'm just saying. There's no home. You've been playing in a bubble. That's what you said. You said it was a bubble. So I'm just because I need some clarification, because when I write this story, because I'm going to be a storyteller, I'm going to be Ken Attenborough at some point in time, or Ken Burns. I'm going to be them. Jeff, I think it's Attenborough. But I'm going to be a storyteller. So when I tell my story, I'm going to make sure I say talking to Skip Bayless for a decade.
Okay, so in the National League this year, did the Atlanta Braves not want to really play the rest of the year? Because that's what it would amount to. That's the comparison.
No.
Did the Braves say, we don't want to go to any kind of bubble? We don't want to play?
They were up 3-1.
Yep.
The Braves was up 3-1. The Falcons was up 28-3, up 19, up 16, boom. And guess what? Trey Young was up HOR on Chauncey and lost it.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, Skip, so we count any championship this year as being authentic? I just need to know.
Yours was not.
So
congratulations.
All the rest are going to be legit, but mine was not.
You got a bubble championship.
No mercy.
The World Series continues tonight with Game 2 between the Rays and Dodgers, with the Dodgers taking the opener last night. It all starts at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox and the Fox Sports app. And guys, Kershaw got the win last night. And before we do get to the Cowboys, what did you make of the future Hall of Famers performance Game 1?
Skip, he looked like the Clayton Kershaw of the regular season. 78 pitches, Dave Robertson got him out of the. Dave Roberts got him out before he could go past that mark. But Skip, he was spectacular. Had he been pitching like this in the postseason his entire career, he could arguably be the greatest pitcher ever. Because we never seen anything like what he's doing in the regular season, Skip. 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP, but for whatever reason, that playoff bug bit him. But last night, he was special.
So, last night in the first inning, I don't know if you were watching quite yet, but I was all over it, and I was shocked to see and troubled to see, for Clayton Kershaw's sake, he was dripping wet in the first inning. His hair, which is pretty long, was just dripping wet with sweat.
You think it was nerves?
I think it was nerves, because he was on the hottest seat you could ever be on, and he's such a good guy. He wants too badly to win for his team in the biggest moments.
Right.
He could set the tone here. And in the first inning, he got so fortunate. He got a check swing strikeout call, which was a close call, but it got him out. Remember, he got in hot water right away.
Right.
And then there was a number toward the mound, and he did not come up cleanly on his throw to first. And usually, if you don't get it on the first try, you don't really get a hold of it on the second. And he did, and made an accurate, hard throw to first to nail the runner. If you throw that ball away, all of a sudden mayhem breaks out.
Maybe it breaks out of his mind too. Like,
that's correct. Here I go again. And the great John Smoltz on the call for Fox predicted if he can get through this trouble spot here, he will cruise the rest of the way. And did he ever?
He was special.
Whew, they had
swing and misses.
19 swings and misses? That's impossible.
Like O'Shea back in the day.
That's
O'Shea back in the day.
Oh. You were a swing and miss guy?
Oh, yeah, I was struck out the side.
Oh, I thought you meant you were striking out.
Oh, no, Skip. You know, that knuckle change for you, boy.
It's weird how that happens. He definitely set the tone. And by the way, I need to get myself a Mookie Betts jersey because I love watching the guy. Game 2 tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Let's get back to some football and talk a bit more about the Cowboys. At just 2-4, players have reportedly begun to express their frustrations with the coaching staff. One player reportedly said Mike McCarthy's staff is, quote, totally unprepared. And another player simply put it, they just aren't good at their jobs. When asked about the reports, McCarthy said he had not heard of any of those types of discussions and that it's important to, quote, handle things like men. Shannon, did Jerry make a mistake bringing in Mike McCarthy?
I think it's too early. Skip, six games into the season. I think it's far too early to make that kind of big prediction and say it was a mistake. But I think the thing is, Skip, is that we're starting to see some of the frustrations that Aaron Rodgers started to having with Mike McCarthy towards the end. And I don't know if it was because they weren't teaching, but there were some things that kind of rubbed him the wrong way with this situation. And it went sour in a hurry.
It did.
Because of the success. I mean, Rodgers had won the Super Bowl, had been MVP early on twice. And then all of a sudden, for some reason, something happened, and this thing took a hard right off the road. But for me, Skip, look, the players have got to stop. They got to accept some of this responsibility. I played 14 years, Skip, and I can honestly say Mike and Dan Reeves was my first coach, and then Wade and, you know, different offensive coordinators from Jim Fossil to Gary Kubiak to I had Matt Cavanaugh in Baltimore. Skip, I never, the coach's fault. Okay, tell me what, now, Skip, and I understand, this is a new system, and we didn't have the normal mini camps, we didn't have the normal OTAs, and even training camp wasn't normal. Now, I'm a learner, Skip, that I needed to see it. I got to go through. I mean, just drawing it up and says, okay, see this right here? Just go do it. Skip, I wasn't like that. We would have what we call a walkthrough, and the walkthrough was about the plays that we had installed that we're going to run during practice, that we're going to run during the game. So I needed to see, I needed to feel, okay, this is where Ed is, this is where Rod is. Okay, TD's going to do this. Okay, am I going to help, am I help in pass protection? Am I getting help inside, outside? I needed to do that. So maybe, Skip, they need to get more walkthroughs and have a better understanding of what Mike Nolan is trying to teach. And when, Guy, if you got the A gap, get to the A gap. Skip, if you got contained, I don't give a damn what goes on in the A or the B gap, I got contained. I'm not letting you outside because, Skip, what happens is, even though you might make a play in a game where you abdicate your responsibility, but teams are watching film knows he ain't supposed to be doing that. And that's why you saw the Cardinals run so many keepers. That's why you saw them kept pitching the ball getting to the edge because they saw in Cleveland, them guys got nosy. And you chasing plays down from the backside, but that's not your job. So guess what we see on film? We can take advantage of that. I think it's too early, Skip, but I think these players are going to have to accept some responsibility and say, guys, we're not doing our job. Because at the end of the day, Skip, you walk by a bunch of mirrors. Ask yourself that question. Am I doing my job? Am I giving that effort? Skip, I can't coach effort. I can coach alignment. I can coach assignment, which is your responsibility. Skip, I can't coach you to play hard. I can't.
Is it too early to, as I said, drop the mic on this mic, as in McCarthy, as I called for Mike Nolan's job, because the defense is horrendously, inexplicably awful, all-time awful, on pace to be the worst defense in the history of pro football on points allowed.
Yes.
The offense isn't much better. And obviously, the offensive line, this is where you give Mike McCarthy some break, it is completely decimated.
Now your left tackle's out. the backup left tackle.
Yeah, exactly. Brandon Knight is out. Okay, so what will Washington do? They'll just bring the house. They're going to blitz Andy Dalton silly. He's going to long for his days in Cincinnati. That's what's going to happen. So it's hard to condemn the offense when the only starter left on offense was the weakest link in the line last year,
Correct.
Connor Williams. And they're not only backups, but we're down to the third string center, who I think could be a pretty good player, Tyler Biadasz from Wisconsin.
Right.
But he was third string, and he's never played before.
Right.
So we got people all across the ball who have never played before, and both the tackles on Monday night were undrafted free agents, a rookie and a second-year player.
Right.
What do you think's going to happen? They're going to come after you. Bad things are going to happen everywhere. But still, how great is Mike McCarthy? Well, at least he has a ring on his finger. I don't know if he wears it all the time. You don't wear yours a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. But he has a Super Bowl ring from 10 years ago. So then I look at what's happened recently to him. Obviously, he sat out last year, but his record as a head coach over the last 34 games is 13, 20, and 1. Not great. And yet, Dak Prescott's record over the last 17 games is 6 and 11. Not great. So something with Kellen Moore, he's throwing for record yards through the first 4 games, obviously, then knock on wood.
Dak is still leading the league in passing.
That's what I mean. And he's gone for the year.
Yes.
God bless him. But the point was that Kellen Moore wasn't working correctly. It produced a lot of yards, but I still look at, I keep telling you how hard this has been to watch. They fall behind to the Rams 7-0. That was their best game they played by far.
Correct. And
it was opener at SoFi. Then the Falcons come to town. They fall behind 20-0 and 29-10 at half. And then at Seattle, they're down 30-15 in the third quarter. Cleveland had them down 41-14 in the third quarter. The Giants had Dak down 17-3 in the second quarter. Okay, what's wrong with that? Somehow you need somebody else to be calling the plays because the script is wrong.
Right.
Where you need to be able to control the football and play chess and possess the football early in the game to give your defense a chance just to hang in and hang on until maybe you can actually eke out a 3-0 lead and make them feel a little bit better about who they are.
Right.
So then I look at Mike McCarthy in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers and obviously going back to Brett Favre. Okay, so he had the one magical run to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Do you realize they were the road wild card team that year, right? Yeah. So they didn't have a great regular season. They just barely eked into the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
So they go to Philly for the first round game, the wild card game. And do you realize it winds up 21-16 Packers? But do you remember the Michael Vick throw?
Threw it in the end zone for the win.
He threw for a win to Riley Cooper, unfortunately. I don't know how he was on the team, but whatever. And Tramon Williams put it in his back pocket because we don't have Mike on today, but we'll have him on next couple of days. I'm going to ask him, was that your most regrettable decision? Because remember, there were 44 seconds left and you had 1st and 10 at the 27-yard line. Right. And he went for broke on the first throw and it ended the game. Okay, that's how close that team came to losing to Michael Vick and the Eagles at Philly. Yep. Okay, then Aaron had a great game at Atlanta. I thought Atlanta was a bad team anyway. And then came Chicago. They survived 21-14, and the quarterback they're beating in the second half is Caleb Haney in place of my guy, Jay Cutler from Vanderbilt University, who was riding the exercise bike with a sprained knee through the second half. And Aaron threw no touchdowns and 2 interceptions in that game, and you barely survived. So I look at the overall record, and since the Super Bowl, Aaron is 6-7 in the playoffs, and under McCarthy, he was 5-6. And a bunch of them, you were pretty fortunate to win because you got to play Joe Webb as a starting quarterback and Kirk Cousins. Mm-hmm. And then there was the Dez Cauditt game, which he did. And then there was the Mason Crossbar game at Dallas, in which he made a 56 and 51-yard impossibly intergalactic field goal.
Well, every field goal in PAT, your guy kicking hooks like that, Zerline.
Okay, I don't even know what that is. You just said you threw a knuckle change or you say a knuckle curve. He kicks knuckleballs that go sideways. I don't know how a football can even do that off his foot, and everyone he kicks is like that.
Everyone does that.
Right?
But Skip, I think that the biggest thing is with the defense. The worst thing you can do if you're a defensive player is freelance. Then you really, because as a defensive player, you start trying to do somebody else's responsibility. And then, because if I'm Mike McCarthy, this is what I do. I bring everybody in, the defensive line, linebackers, DBs. And I discuss it like that. I says, okay, here's the defense we're calling. Here is your responsibility. Alden Smith, this is what I want you to do. Emerson Griffin, this is what I want you to do. My D tackles, I want you to line up here. You have this gap, you have that gap. Jalen, Wolf Hunter, this is your responsibility.
Sure.
In this coverage, when we go single high, you deep third, you got hook flat, you got deep third, you got deep third. This is what we, Skip, because for whatever reason, Skip, is something, there's either I'm not communicating it properly or you're not receiving it properly, but something is going on. So that's what, but you can't, because Skip, you start freelancing. Is that, okay, I got to make this play. And just when you think you're about to make a play in somebody else's gap, they take advantage of your aggressiveness, your freelancing, and now they're out the backside and people looking at you crazy like, man, but I was trying, I thought, no, you can't do that. Play sound. The one thing you can't do, Skip, on defense is freelance. You can't, yeah, I mean, you can get away with it. Sometimes on offense, Skip, you know, you make up a ride like, okay, do this and do that. But the quarterbacks look at you like, man, I ain't throwing with you. That bull, we ain't practiced that. I'm not throwing you the ball. But on defense, you freelance when you got a contain and you jump your butt in the C gap or the B gap. Skip, they toss it and they're out the gate.
What ended Earl Thomas's time in Baltimore? Freelancing.
And sometimes, Skip, look, okay, if you go freelance, how about I tell you, okay, Skip, this is what I'm going to do, okay? In this segment right here, this is where I'm going to go with this. You have an understanding. But if I just start going off the cuff, you looking like, what am I supposed to do with this?
You go off the cuff every topic every day.
I do sometimes.
I have no idea where you're going to go. I just sit over here in awe. It's the loosest cannon on television.
But you can't do that, Skip. You can't do that. If you go into blitz, if you say, look here, I'm going to blitz, so I'm just going to go blitz. Don't you think you want to tell the linebacker, don't you want to think you want to tell the DB, like, hey, I'm going on this one? Or you just going to go and he has no idea and everybody looking around like, what are you doing?
Okay. So my final question about Mike McCarthy is, if you're going to hire him, how can you then dictate to him terms of the hire is that you can't do what you do best, which is call plays. You have to let Kellen Moore call plays.
That's what they did? You think that's
well, I assume, why would he just give into it and say, yeah, I'm going to crawl to Dallas for America's team's job because I've been out of work for a year. I'll do it under your conditions, which is Kellen Moore calls the play.
I thought because they were going to use a lot of the stuff that Dak was familiar with, used to hearing Kellen Moore in his ear. Okay, I get it. But Dak ain't there.
Nope.
Andy Dalton ain't used to hearing Kellen Moore in his ear. So Mike McCarthy, it's your time now.
Yep. So what do you have left? What are your strengths? I said to strengthen the strength by taking CD. You have 3 potential 1,000-yard receivers. You got to figure out how to get them the ball early and often.
Well, I think that because the strength is not running the football anymore because you got 5 guys up there that probably should, 6 now that probably shouldn't be playing.
That is correct.
So they can't move people off the ball like they could when Ty Smith was healthy and Zach Martin and Collins and Travis Frederick. So, but here's the thing, Skip. How do you protect long enough to allow your receivers to get down the field and throw it to them?
Quick. Get him the football quickly.
I'm pressing everything.
Yeah.
You got your 3rd left tackle in the game. Chase Young's like... he
is thinking that right now. Like, I'm going to have me a day.
Yes. I'm going to have me an Aaron Donald day. Like Aaron Donald had against Alex Smith, I'm about to have me one of them against the Cowboys.
That's what he's thinking.
About it? Oh, that might be true.
No mercy.
Everyone from Tom Brady to Barack Obama has been congratulating LeBron for his most recent title. But even Damian Lillard, whose Blazers were eliminated by the Lakers in the playoffs, had a compliment to pay the king. When asked by a fan on Twitter which attributes he'd want from any all-time players, Dame answered, Jordan's athleticism, Durant's size and skill set, and LeBron's durability. So, Shannon, is this a positive or negative for LeBron James?
It's an absolute positive. I mean, there's a peer saying that I want something that you have. And Skip, we realize that as a professional athlete, no matter what the sport, the ability to get out there and play at your absolute best every single day. Availability is also a skill set. And very few people have had it better than LeBron James. And Dame Lillard understands that. Dame Lillard has played in 56 playoff games. He missed his first one this year with that finger index. So he's played 55 of 56. LeBron James has played in 260 playoff games. So that's 204 more games than Dame, and he's never missed a one. So to be able to be counted on is huge. Jordan's athleticism, okay. to be 7 foot tall and to be able to shoot the ball like he can shoot it, Skip, from 3, put it on the floor, get to the rack, shoot 90% from the three-point line. Hell, I want that skill set too if I'm a basketball player. But this is absolutely a positive because I think the thing is that, you know, we talk about LeBron's IQ, but hell, Dame, like, my basketball IQ is just as high. So I'm not surprised that he chose this attribute of LeBron because, hell, I would love to have that too.
So, I completely upside down disagree with your take on this.
Okay.
I see it completely differently. And I would like to thank my friend Damian Lillard for slamming the door on 2 debates, the GOAT debate and the best player on the planet debate, in one little sweet tweet. Thank you very much, Dame, for this.
I'm confused.
So he did want one thing from LeBron, but durability is not really a GOAT asset. It's not really a gift because part of it is just luck to me. And again, I always call LeBron Iron Man, but part of it is just being blessed, I don't know, by the injury gods, where Dak Prescott, most durable quarterback in pro football, going into his 5th year, and he has lost for the season on as freakish an accident of an injury as I've ever seen a quarterback undergo. Because he's running free, and he gets challenged face-to-face by a much smaller DB, a 5'11", 195-pound DB, and he's 6'2", 240. The rest of the story. He gets dragged a little bit forward, sort of a front-side horse collar, and his ankle just buckles to the point it just snaps. Compound fracture, dislocation. It's horrible, okay? That's just unlucky to me because I can't explain it. So LeBron has been very blessed, very lucky, and very durable. It has something to do, I don't even know what percentage to give it, to training, fitness, obviously. But a lot of it's just you're blessed. Well, so Dame wanted that from him. But when it comes to MJ, he wants his athleticism. That's a GOAT gift. That's just him publicly acknowledging the GOAT is Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Let me ask you a question. If we were to ask Mahomes, what qualities would you like to take from some of the greats? You think he's going to take Tom Brady's athleticism or his durability?
Well, that's a whole different position. Quarterback's a completely different than being the best basketball player ever.
Yeah, no, hold on. You say Tom Brady's the GOAT quarterback.
Yeah.
So if I ask Patrick Mahomes, what of the great quarterbacks would you like to have what's the attribute?
Okay, he'd want from Brady accuracy under the greatest pressure, under Super Bowl pressure. He'd want his clutchness.
You do realize that
he would want his ability to throw accurate passes in the 4th quarter of Super Bowl comebacks.
He did it. He got it. You remember he did that?
Yeah, I remember he threw 2 interceptions. One late in the 3rd quarter and one early in the 4th quarter.
On 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
He did that. 44 yards to Tyreek.
He threw a no-look punt up to Tyreek, and Tyreek had to come back 10 yards fair catch it.
I knew you was going to do this. I knew you was going to take a shot to say Dame was trying to take a shot at LeBron James.
I don't know if he's taking a shot. I think he's just being honest about it.
Okay.
I want the athleticism because basketball is a much more athletic game than playing quarterback is.
But Skip, if you look at so LeBron James is not athletic. Here's a guy that's doing windmill dunk, doing rockabye baby dunks in year 17.
More athletic, Jordan or LeBron? Help me out. Not even close.
Skip.
Skip. Lord have mercy.
You're asking a man, so who can flip better? A guy that weighs 200 pounds or a guy that weighs 265?
LeBron win. None because he participated in 0 because he did not trust himself.
Because LeBron
He's not athletic enough to win a dunk contest. Jordan not only won 2, he set the tone.
He should not have won the one in 88.
He became the GOAT logo.
First of all, the only reason he won 88 because it was in Chicago Stadium. You know that, I know that. Dominique Wilkins should have won.
He took off from the free throw line.
I don't care if he took off from the half-court line. But anyway, you see what you did? You always trying to find a way. But the fact of the matter is, he could have Jordan's athleticism. He could have Kobe's fadeaway. He could have KD's skill set and size. But the GOAT, that guy.
Is that all you got?
That's that guy.
Really? And then let's get to best player on the planet. I've told you again and again and again, it's not LeBron James anymore. Once Kevin Durant won back-to-back finals MVPs, he closed the case on that.
So LeBron James won back-to-back Finals MVP. So what does that mean?
He did it against LeBron in his house.
And I did it against you. Remember? And I would have done it to you again, but had you not blown that 3-1 lead, you do realize the guy, the 7-foot guy with the skill set, blew a 3-1 lead to little old 6-foot Steph Curry. He did that. My guy ain't never blown no 3-1 lead. Never.
Well, he's never been in that kind of position against a team like Golden State.
Whoa. We beat that team called Golden State.
And by the way, you were in that position because in 2015, you were up 2-1 with Game 4 in your house.
Skip.
And it's against little tiny Steph and little Clay.
So 2-1 is the same. Hold on. Guess what?
2-1 with Game 4 in your house.
Guess what, Skip? You was up 3-1 and had Game 6 in your house. Can you tell the people what happened? If you don't know if you don't believe it, go back and look at Game 6. Go back and look at Game 5.
Which one are you talking about
when
now?
They were up 3-1.
Who's they?
OKC.
Okay.
With Kevin Durant, the best player on the planet.
He was handicapped by his point guard.
Oh, my goodness, Skip.
Yep, you know it and I know it.
So if I want to, okay, he was handicapped when he blew the 3-1 lead, but he wasn't handicapped to get the 3-1 lead. Damn, he started walking, okay.
All of a sudden, the 3-1 lead went to the head of the point guard, and he decided he was the show, and he was going to shoot it nearly every time.
Do you remember what happened in Game 6? That's what Kevin Durant did. Go look at the stats. I think he had 30 attempts. I could be wrong. Give or take 1 or 2. Look at the numbers, Skip Bayless.
So what did Damian want? I want his size and his skill set.
Yes!
Those are goatish gifts, and those are definitely best player on the planet gifts.
Skip. To be 7 foot tall and to be able to handle the ball, shoot the 3, get to the mid-range, get to the rack. But has anybody...
Unbelievable. Best player on the planet. Case closed.
Stop it.
Remember, he just dribbled right up the floor, and he was being guarded by the great LeBron James, who was trying to sit in that chair, but he didn't sit quite quickly enough because KD pulled up about 3 feet beyond the three-point line and just ripped it right in his grill.
You remember what we did?
Game over.
Remember what we did to KD? Do you remember what we did to KD when he was in OKC? When we got our first title. We got our first title, KD. Was KD in OKC then?
Yeah, he's about 19 then. Harden was about 18, and I think Russ was 17.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. Skip, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. You should really be ashamed of yourself.
The baby Thunder.
The baby now.
Yeah.
So
they blew you off the floor in Game 1. Remember that?
So in other words, LeBron says, you know what? I got an MVP over guys that got 3 MVPs. 3.
Interesting. Thank you, Damian. I do appreciate it.
Dame. That's what Dame says he won't. I got no problem with that.
I want LeBron's durability.
Yes.
That's what you call damning with faint praise.
Hold on.
That's faint praise.
The guy don't miss them playoff games. He gonna be in the playoffs.
He's there.
He gonna have 40,000, 10 and 10 with 7 chips.
Most minutes ever played. Pile up those accolades, those longevity accolades. Yeah. That's all you got.
But you told I remember when LeBron was sitting out, you told me that Jordan played 9 times. Jordan played all 82 games. Now LeBron James is playing, you say he's stat padding. So if he doesn't play, he don't take it serious. Jordan played 82 games. If he plays, he's stat padding. How does he win?
When Jordan had 20-point leads, he sat the fourth quarter.
He never had 20-point lead until he got Scotty. He got Scotty to get them 20-point leads. Remember that?
Remember Game 6 of this recent NBA Finals? Remember what LeBron was doing, front-running in the fourth quarter?
What was he doing?
Slamming the backboard after he dunked it. Right? Shooting a logo 3 with a 25-point lead. Stop it.
Let him know.
Yeah.
Let him know.
Hey, boy, that's...
Let him know.
That's gutsy.
All I know is LeBron is sitting back and watching us and has a smirk on his face because he's got the championship. And he's relaxing.
Smoking his cigar, drinking his wine.
He is feeling just fine this morning.
In Vegas with the trophy, too.
Falling out of shape.
No mercy.
Despite leading the NFC East, trouble is brewing in Dallas. At just 2-4, Cowboys players have reportedly begun to express their frustrations with the coaching staff. One player reportedly said Mike McCarthy's staff is, quote, totally unprepared, and another player simply put it, they just aren't good at their jobs. Former Cowboys cornerback Orlando Scandrick joining us this morning. Orlando, good to have you. Here's the question, though. Is coaching the problem with the Cowboys?
I don't know if coaching is the sole problem, but coaching is one of the huge issues. From a leadership standpoint, it's very disappointing that you bring in a coach who you think is a championship caliber coach, and after 6 games, people is ready to jump ship. When the finger pointing starts, it's hard to come back from that.
So let me ask you, so the coaching was the problem last year, and these same players are there this year. Not coaching is a problem again. When is there going to be
No. Let me stop you there, Sharp.
Go ahead.
The coaching was a problem because the message began to become stoic and everyone was tired of it, so they were ready for change. Sometimes when you realize when you get change, change is not always, the grass ain't always greener. A 2-4 start is a terrible start, especially what you added in the offseason. And I think from a coaching standpoint, they brought in coaches that don't mesh well with the players, the coaches that don't run a scheme that's good for these players. So that's the only reason why I say coaching is a problem. But at some point, these players got to look themselves in the mirror and say, did I make enough plays? Did I win my individual battle tonight?
That's my point. You keep saying, okay, the message got stale. Okay, this is a new message with those same players. When have you got contained? When are you going to contain? When if you're playing cover 3 that you're in the hook to flat instead of the third of the field? So if you're supposed to be in the A gap and you're not in the A gap, what does coaching? Coaching teaches you alignment and assignment, which is your responsibility. Okay, once I tell you your responsibility, it's your job to go get it done. So you don't get it done, it's easy because Jerry Jones has made it okay to have a scapegoat in the coach. People have blamed Jason Garrett for 8 years. 8-8, this Jason Garrett fault. Now you got a different coach. Now you got no Rod Marinelli, no Chris Richard, no Jason Garrett, and it's still the coaches. What about them players?
No, the players are definitely in it. But Skip, I'm gonna lean to Skip on this one. We hired a coach. Well, I'm speaking as Dallas Cowboys fans. We hired a defensive coordinator that has been lately historically bad. We made some hires on defense, and we brought in Mike Nolan, which he brought in Tom Sula. Let me take you back to the coaching tree. All of these guys coached with the San Francisco 49ers, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. All these guys coached with the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Nolan, horrendous. So they promote Singletary. That has a fallen out, who was also on the same Mike Nolan staff. Then they promote Tom Sula, horrendous. And all of a sudden they get Jim Harbaugh, and these same players are in the NFC Championship year after year in the Super Bowl. So I just don't think the scheme is bad. They totally unprepared. For someone to say totally unprepared at your job, that is the worst thing that someone can say. Totally unprepared at your job. What you do, how you feed your family, your profession.
So, Orlando, you have been around. You played for the Cowboys. You played for the Eagles. You played for the Chiefs. You know the score. You know what's happening inside these locker rooms. Mm-hmm. They have rejected Mike Nolan's teaching in his scheme. Somehow, some way, it hasn't worked because they are on an historically bad pace. You have to go back to the AFL Oakland Raiders of 1961 to find a pro football team that gave up more points through the first 6 games than this defense has. The last time Mike Nolan was even a defensive coordinator was 2014 in Atlanta. Those Falcons gave up the most yards in the whole National Football League. And the previous year, they were 27th in yards allowed with him as the defensive coordinator. And the previous year before that, 2012, they were 24th in yards allowed. Fail, fail, fail. And then somehow, out of cronyism at its worst, because once upon a time, he gave Mike McCarthy a coordinator's job when Mike Nolan was the head coach of the 49ers, back to your point, that Correct. Mike owed him a favor. So one Mike brought the other Mike basically out of semi-retirement and gave him the D.C. job in Dallas with a team that still has a lot of talent on it. So, Orlando, I got to ask you this, because this dawned on me last night. DeMarcus Lawrence has made Pro Bowls. Mm-hmm. Aldon Smith has been a revelation this year. He's played at a very high level. He's made a lot of Pro Bowls in his past, obviously. They added Dontari Poe, who was a Pro Bowl player in his past. And then I look at, they just added Everson Griffin, who did make the Pro Bowl last year. Shannon makes the point, well, he stayed on the market a long time, and they got him cheap, but he did make the Pro Bowl for the Vikings last year. And he's been, I think he's a 4-time Pro Bowler. And then all of a sudden I see Monday night, Leighton Vander Esch back. He made the Pro Bowl. Jalen Smith has made the Pro Bowl. It's historically bad. Can you help me out here? At some point, do you just mutiny on Mike Nolan? Do you completely reject the teaching and the scheme of the new coaching staff?
I think that at some point, thus far in these 6 games, these guys have said, this ain't working for me.
Correct.
Marks has said, I made Pro Bowl after Pro Bowl. This ain't working for me. Shannon, we looked 2-3 games into the season. Everson Griffin goes, well, I don't want to stand up anymore. I want to put my hand in the dirt. But that's not the scheme. That's not what the scheme calls for, to keep contained. So they've definitely rejected it. But but
kid, hold on. Go back to what you said. To do what? What's his responsibility to keep? You said something.
To keep it contained. It's his responsibility. But for him, if he's saying, I can't do this, my arm's too short, that's not what I'm used to doing.
Why the hell you signed there? You know the defense that they run.
Why did they bring him there as the coaches? You know why he signed there?
Yeah.
He signed there for money.
Exactly.
Why did the coaches bring him there?
Thank you.
As players, it's your job to make plays. As coaches, it's your job to put these players in the best position and to give them the best plan each week to win, week in, week out. And I'm gonna give it to y'all raw as a player. You looked and these players say their inability to make changes. So these first few drives, the first 3 drives, they're getting 3 and out, 3 and out. Then the next drive, what happens? The Cardinals come down, score. The Cardinals come down, score. Now it's 14-0.
Okay, but wait a second. Why did that happen? Because wait a second. Your Pro Bowl running back coughed it up twice and gave them 2 short field touchdowns, one from only 27 yards away. And the defense said, we're out.
So is it okay? Is it okay when the defense is put in a disadvantageous position to just give up a score?
No. You're welcome to stop them. You can stop them holding to a field goal. But let me ask you this. You talked about D-Law. Since D-Law got that big contract, you telling me he's played like a Pro Bowl player, a guy that deserves $21 million. Has he played like that? A simple yes or a simple no?
That's never came out of my mouth. You gave me a question and an answer.
Okay, here's another question. Since he made that last Pro Bowl, got that big contract, has he played like a top defensive end? A simple yes or a simple no?
No, he hasn't.
Jalen Smith, hold on. Jalen Smith got that big payday. Has he played like a top-tier linebacker? A simple yes or a simple no will suffice.
The last time you had me on, we talked about the payday of Jalen Smith, and we said, it's being critical, and it may be more than people think it is. But at the end of the day, they paid him to play in a scheme, and then they put him in a totally different scheme. So if I paid you to be a pass-catching tight end, then I told you got to be a left tackle, how would you feel?
No. He's still a linebacker. Go get the ball. How about just go get the ball? What about that effort? You saw that effort against Odell on that run. You saw the effort. Hold on.
And making plays.
No. That's what defense is. It's about effort and responsibility. Are they doing their responsibility? You keep telling me, you put him in a scheme that he's unfamiliar with.
I'm not making excuses, but all I'm saying is if you pay me to play in a certain scheme, then keep me in the scheme. I thought it was foolish for them to abandon the scheme. I'm not giving them a pass. I'm not giving DeMarcus a pass because he's in a different scheme. I'm not giving Jalen a pass. I'm just saying put the guys in the best position to win. They already were struggling with not being in the best position to win, so put them in the best position to win.
But I don't understand. Rod Marinelli's scheme wasn't for them. Chris Richard's... Hold on. Give me a second. Rod Marinelli's scheme wasn't for them. Chris Richard's scheme wasn't for them. Mike Nolan's scheme wasn't for them. What the hell type of scheme is going to be perfect so we can get some complete?
Timeout.
Yeah.
The Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard scheme just absolutely did a number on Seattle and Russell Wilson and the #1 rushing attack in pro football in a playoff game at Jerry World just 2 years ago. They shut them completely down. Would they hold them to 76 yards rushing? Are you kidding me? And by Russ's standards, he had a very subpar game that day, and they hung on and won 24-22.
Correct.
They held him to 22 points. Something worked.
Back further. We can go back further. The Rod Marinelli, Chris Richard scheme, Thursday Night Football against the New Orleans Saints.
Oof.
They held them to, what, 6 points?
Yeah.
Yep. Drew Brees threw an interception to end the game to Jordan Lewis.
Okay.
Sharp, what I'm saying is I'm not giving any of these players a pass, but do you see any light at the end of the tunnel in the current scheme or the current coaching on this defensive side of the ball right now?
Can I be 100% honest? I don't think the players on the defense are very good. I think we based their value on how much money they make. That's what we've done with the Cowboys.
I can look at there. I can say that sometimes you put people's value into how much money they make. But what are you going to do? You want to scrap every single player on defense, or do you want to try to interject some life and a voice on the defensive side to get these players to believe? Because right now they don't believe.
I want you to do your job. If you have contain, maintain, contain. If you have A-gap responsibility, get your butt in the A-gap. If you got deep thirds, why are you squatting in the hook, the curl, the flat? Tell me that. You saw that Christian Kirk. Can you tell me why Worley was squatting 2 yards behind the DB that got the hook, the flat?
I think he was just guessing, but at the end of the day...
What the? Hold on. So the coaches told you, when you go out there, I want you to guess. I want you to play this. Huh?
No way. But at some point, who put those players on the field? Who vouched for those players to get on the roster?
Jerry Jones. Because Jerry Jones said everybody. Jerry Jones says everybody here. Hold on, Skip. Skip read a quote.
That's not how it happened.
I know what Skip just read. He said Jerry Jones says we've got the talent. Everybody
to fix this. Yeah.
So everybody that came in that locker room came at the blessings of who? Orlando Scandrick.
Jerry Jones signs off on the final thing. But to put yourself in Jerry Jones' situation, if I'm the owner of the team, how much stuff do you think that he's running? How much? A lot. So he has to take outside information from a lot of people, from his coach. He has to trust his coaches. That was one of the reasons why he hired Mike McCarthy, because he's a Super Bowl winning coach. He's got that in him.
Okay, last question to you, because you did play defensive back at a high level in this league. Help me out with this one. They signed Clinton Dix before the season started. He is a former Pro Bowl player, only 27 years of age. For some reason, just before the season started, after giving him $4 million for this year, they cut him in favor of Xavier Woods, who's a great kid. We've had him on the show. But I think he's just a mediocre player who has now started 39 games for the Dallas Cowboys. They like him because he's a good kid and he tries hard. What happened to Clinton Dix? Can you explain that one to me?
I think that they signed. I'm gonna go back and lean on Shannon right here. I think they signed him for what he has done in the past. I don't think that he was what they were looking for. I thought they were getting one thing. And then once they get out there in training camp, they realize he's just as good as the guys that we got. So why keep him? Let's just see what these guys. I know that they know safety is a position of need, but the refusal to bring in Earl Thomas because they think that it means for the locker room and just where they are right now. I think they're just trying to keep their head above water. And I know what the message is. We're 2-4, but yeah, we're in first place. We got everything that we want right ahead of us.
No mercy. Tomorrow, it's a classic NFC East rivalry that's been all Philly as of late. Daniel Jones and the Giants try to get their season going as they take on Carson Wentz and the Eagles. It all starts 7:30 Eastern on Fox, NFL Network, and streaming on Amazon Prime. And it's the Cowboys who barely lead that division and are also slight favorites to win it at +115, according to Fox Bet. The Eagles are close behind, however, at +125. Orlando Scandrick still here. Orlando, you've played for both these teams. So, will the Cowboys win the NFC East?
I honestly don't know. Being optimistic, I would like to say that they should win the NFC East, but I don't know. I mean, their offensive line is decimated. Their players are pointing fingers at each other. And I'm not too sure that the Eagles are in. The Eagles are decimated on their offensive line. They're decimated. Both their tight ends are hurt, and their running backs hurt now. And you don't know. I don't put no other team out. I have no idea.
I'm the same, because you talk about the Cowboys' offensive line, but the Eagles' line are just as decimated. They're down both of their tight ends. Their running back is out, and they could possibly be without their 3 top receivers. Now, D-Jack they say he's probable, to play. But Alshon and Jalen Reagor are out. So they're going with Fulgham. They're going with Greg Ward Jr. They're going with Arthega Whiteside. So you look at it, you're like, wow. And they still are competitive in these games. You look at, they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, arguably the best team in the AFC, 5-0. Played them nip and tuck to the wire. The Baltimore Ravens, the second or third at worst, best team in the AFC. Played them was what was it, a 30-28 type ball game? So when you look at it, they're playing hard. They're as competitive as they can possibly be. And guess what you haven't heard? Nothing about no coaching. You ain't heard nothing about no excuses.
Let's be honest. They're playing competitive against these top teams. They're the Cowboys. If the Cowboys still had Dak Prescott, they're the same exact team, almost to a T.
So
wait, time out. I got to
with one less win.
So let me ask you a question.
No, time out. You said you haven't heard anything about the Philly coaching. Are you kidding me? Philly Nation crushed Dougie P for his play call in the 2-point conversion. They run a read option with Carson Wentz. What are you doing?
Both of guys.
And it just got absolutely blown apart.
Yes, Skip, I understand.
Okay,
Skip,
right.
we get the fans, but we're talking about the players in the locker room pointing fingers and saying
some might have quietly been pointing fingers at that play call.
But that's the difference between players who bought into a system and players who are ready to jump ship from a system.
Okay. Well, obviously he won a Super Bowl with a Philly special call, so they're giving him the cachet of the benefit of the doubt. I do have an opinion on this. You guys have none.
Well, you know who I picked. I'm scared with my team.
No, you said you don't know.
No. If you told me, do I think the Cowboys? I'm still taking the Eagles. I'm still going to take the Eagles, even though they're banged up and they got all.
Because I pushed you into a corner and you're taking them.
Just because the Cowboys will do Cowboy things and they'll keep.
That's all.
And they're going to fire you. Well, you want Mike Nolan gone.
I want him gone today, and I want Mike McCarthy to take over the play calling from Kellen Moore. It is not working. It worked okay for Dak as far as throwing for 500 yards a game, but they were not winning. They were falling dangerously, woefully behind, even with Dak Prescott. And I saw the same song, 6th verse, Monday Nightmare against Arizona. I still believe this team is good enough. With Randy Gregory coming back this weekend at Washington, with Sean Lee about to come back, with Awuzie about to come back, a starting corner. Is he great? No. Is he below average? He's probably a little below average. He's not even Orlando Scandrick. Awuzie is not. I will give you that. But I still say this team is talented enough to win the NFC least. And I even look at like ESPN's power ranking that came out yesterday. They still have Dallas 20th, Philly 22nd, Washington 29th, and the Giants 31st. Okay, that's it in a nutshell.
Yes.
So can Dallas go 5-1 in the NFC least? Yes, they can. Could they split with Philly and beat Washington twice and the Giants? Yes, they could twice.
I don't know this weekend. I don't know. They're missing Brandon Knight. He just had surgery.
Got it.
So now they're on their 4th or 5th offensive tackle.
Yep.
The Washington football team, what they put their investment into, the strength of their team is their defensive line. I just don't know how they're going to block these guys this weekend. But it's just like now you've gotten into let's run it, let's lean on it. So you got a team that's missing its top tight end, lining up in 3 tight ends and just trying to turn around and hand the ball off with a bunch of guys on the O-line that look like a second or third quarter of a preseason game.
And that's the thing is that when you talk about, but look, the reason why the Eagles' next 3 games, Skip, they got the Giants on Thursday night.
Yeah,
they got the Cowboys, and the Giants.
I give you those.
They could easily be 2-1, 3-0.
Maybe 3-0. I agree. But then look what happens.
But do you got faith in the Cowboys with that defense? The tackles are out for the year. Knight's out now, and there's no Dak. And now Jerry all of a sudden said, if we'd have had Dak, Dak would have made that thing respectable all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden, he liked Dak. You didn't want to pay it.
Andy Dalton was running for his life on Monday night. I've never seen anything like it. And I thought Andy Dalton actually did a great job of escaping about 5 more sacks.
Dak would have made it happen.
Did Dak make it happen in Atlanta 3 years ago? Remember that, 2017? Yikes. Remember, what, did he go down 8 times?
So just imagine if Andy Dalton was without C.D. Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. Because that's what the Eagles could possibly be for the next couple of weeks. What you think Andy Dalton going to do?
Okay, but we do have those guys healthy. We got 3 potential 1,000-yard receivers.
But you still got Andy Dalton in that defense.
Okay, Andy Dalton is better than you're giving him credit for. Go ahead, O.
We just acted like Carson Wentz, 21 of 40 for 213 yards. 21 of 40 for 213 yards.
Well, the other guy had 54 attempts for 266 and 2 tugs and 2 IT.
You killed us about Dak's meaningless scores and making the game respectable.
Yeah.
What was we got a lot of meaningless scores, and then we get down, and that's that great 2-point conversion call. Fly, Eagles, fly.
I mean, all you can do is run the play that's called. That's all you can do. If you call the play and the play doesn't work, at least I ain't ad-lib. At least I ain't going to go rogue and do my own thing and give up contain.
So you don't trust Carson Wentz to throw it for a 2-point conversion to win the game?
I go with what call. I go with what calls.
Because he didn't trust him to throw it.
Whatever.
Yeah, that's what happened. You know it, and I know it.
Put your faith in a coach that plays for ties. We playing the Bengals at home. We're going to play for a tie. Is that a winning mentality, or playing not to lose?
Well, you got your coach. I just want to see what the coach that y'all got, what he's going to do without Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. So tell me what he did when he had Brett Hundley. How did he look with Brett Hundley?
I never was sold on it. I didn't say he was the next coming of Jesus. But what I'm saying is Dougie P down there playing for ties. Then when they play against good offenses, they give up 30 points a game.
And guess what? That tie going to come back to help us win the division. Because when we win Thursday night, guess who in first place? We're in the front. Y'all in the back again. That tie going to come back to help us win the division.
What happens when we win at Washington on Sunday?
Let it skip. That's a pick'em game.
It is.
It is a pick'em game against a guy that was out 2 years and almost lost a leg. That's a pick'em game for y'all, the Cowboys. And you picking a game that a guy that's out there on one leg.
And
Stop it.
I'm picking Dallas.
Stop
Who you
it.
got? Who you got?
I ain't picking Dallas. That's who I'm not picking.
Okay, well, I'm picking several cases of due on Dallas.
Chase Young, Allen, get after him.
Get after him. Way to go.
Kerrigan, Sack City.
He's going to be everywhere. Yep.
Are you picking the Eagles Thursday night?
Yeah.
How are they going to block anybody?
Good question.
I know you're not talking about considering the Cowboys.
How are they going to block anybody?
You'll see. They're going to win. You know what? Why you up there talking about how they going to do all this? How you going to get that what you owe me?
I told you with COVID going on, they're not letting packages come in the studio.
No packages.
Yeah,
We're dropping off at the front gate. They let them packages come in. You run me there.
It's lack of staff at the front gate. Appointments only.
Just not a lot right now.
No mercy.
Richard Jefferson believes that we will see LeBron playing at an elite level for 3 to 5 more years. When LeBron's former teammate was asked about how long the King could play at an elite level, Jefferson said, quote, "He'll be a top 5 player, in my opinion, until he probably retires. 3 to 5 years, I think he could be a top player. I think he'll be the #1 player." So, Shannon, how long do you think LeBron will be a top 5 player?
Next year is 18. I'm going to say next year and the year after. So 18, 19, Skip, he'll still be a top 5 player. Obviously, he's going to go that record. He's too close not to get the Kareem record. So that's going to probably take him.
Scoring record.
Yeah. That's going to he's going to have to probably, and all that's going to be dependent on, Skip, the seasons. Are we starting in January? Are we going to do a full 82 games?
I assume yes. But go ahead.
So that means Skip, there's going to be a lot of back-to-backs in there because you can't space out like you normally would and play 82 games starting in January. Because remember, Skip, normally they start in October and go to, regular season ends in April, and then you start the playoffs, and then March and May and June, the season's over. So if you're going to play like that, I'm going to say 2 years, he'll be a top 5 player. The next 2 years, he'll be still a top 10 player. So I'm saying over the next 4 years, he will not dip outside of the top 10. The next 2 years, he'll be a top 5 player. He'll still be a top 5 player year 18 and year 19 of his career.
Boy, that is wishful thinking.
Have you seen anything to deter you to say that's not going to happen?
Not yet.
Okay.
But you always tell me Father Time is undefeated, correct?
Yeah, but we can fight him. We take him deep into the rounds.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of like the guy in Tampa Bay is doing right now.
You go, stop it. Stop.
I want to remind everybody, LeBron James has played 59,364 minutes of NBA games. That's regular season and postseason.
Yes.
59,000, going on 60,000 minutes. That's the second most ever played in the history of this league.
Yes.
Karl Malone is first. But LeBron is going to catch and pass him. I'm going to knock on wood for LeBron that he stays healthy. But if he stays healthy and you do have a 82-ish game schedule and you do go into the postseason, which I completely assume that you will.
As the 1 seed?
You're going to, you might, it's possible, although there's that team, the team in the basement. I think they're going to have a big say.
Stop it.
Yeah. But the point is, you're going to pass Karl Malone for #1 on the minutes played list. You're about 3,300 short, 3,400 short of him. Okay, just to keep this in perspective, LeBron James has now played 274 more games than Michael Jordan ever played. 274. That's a lot of more
Including
games.
Playoffs and
yes,
regular season?
Both. And total minutes, LeBron has played 11,000 more minutes than MJ ever played. Now, again, MJ was forced to take 2 years off right in the middle of what could have been an 8-peat.
Nobody forced.
Would have been an 8-peat. And then he voluntarily took 3 years off because his coach got pushed out the back door by Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf in Chicago after The Last Dance in 1998. He took 3 full years off and then came back for 2 ceremonial conclusive years in Washington.
Well, we might do that too. We might play 21, 22, take a year or 2 off, and then come back for some ceremony.
End it in Akron?
No,
Might?
we ain't going back.
You won't go back to
Next
Dan
time
Gilbert?
we go back to Akron, we going back to buy the Cavs.
Really?
Yeah.
To buy the Cavs? I would like to see that.
Wow.
Really?
So what are you saying? Or is he not going to be a top 5 player over the next couple of years?
I'm going to give him one more top 5 year. And then the minutes are going to catch up to him. The wear and tear, the miles on those legs will finally just catch up with him.
That's why
just
we got
too
AD.
many.
That's why we got AD. You know, Skip, we run the offense through AD. That's why AD led the league in minutes, led us in minutes this year. That's why he led us in
Okay,
scoring.
well, at some point, if you channel the whole offense through him, you're not going to be a top 5 player.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Sounds like you make him a top 1 player.
That's our goal. That's our goal, to put him in position so he'll know when we're done, when we step aside, AD keep this thing going in L.A. So we, like I said, we got something up our sleeve coming that you don't know about.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what
you
that
do
is.
see it.
Yeah, all I see right now are cigars and wine.
Skip, don't we enjoy a celebration? I mean, what about your guy? Your guy won 1 ball game, and he on there talking about, that was a big win, guys. It was great. We got to keep it going. Really, Skip?
Is he smoking stogies after games?
Hey, don't tell him what
No.
You don't tell him what he on.
Is he sipping wine after every victory over Aaron Rodgers? Nope, he is
Skip,
not.
We don't know what he on. He might be on that flocker for all we know. We don't know what the man do off camera. All I'm saying is that my guy is enjoying himself, is enjoying the benefits of a long, hard season that's mentally, because you said he was mentally fragile, but my guy was in a bubble in solitary confinement.
Well, I hope what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas this time.
We good.
Okay.
We good.
Yeah. So these are all the players who are going to make a top 5 case starting next year. There's this guy named Durant who's in Brooklyn, and then there's this guy named Kyrie. They're going to make a top 5
Kyrie
case.
ain't going to be no top 5 player, so stop it.
Well, you say that, but you don't know that.
I told you when Kyrie left, you told me that Kyrie, I said, look, as long as LeBron is playing in the NBA, he will be a better player than Kyrie Irving. I told you that. You didn't want to hear that. Kyrie has not even come close to being LeBron since he's been away with Lebron.
Yet he won LeBron a ring with the last,
Let me
ask you a late
question.
shot.
Well, why can't he win himself one? How the hell you gonna win somebody else something that you can't win for yourself? That ain't how I do it. If I win my girl a teddy bear, you best believe I'm gonna step back up there and win me something.
Well, now that he has the best player on the planet, you better look out because you might have to run into those guys in the finals.
Time out. What you mean he's the best player on the planet? Why he need that guy? Kyrie said he wanted to lead his own team. That's why he wanted out from under LeBron. But then you turn around and go recruit Kevin Durant. So in actuality, what you wanted is you couldn't do all along and you knew it.
But Kevin Durant is actually your friend as opposed to LeBron.
Hey, I'm trying to win titles.
Okay.
I don't know about no friend. We be
so
friends.
Here are
later.
other players who are going to make a top 5 case. There's this guy named Steph, long forgotten in Golden State. I think he's going to make a case. James Harden makes a case every year. He has, to quote Daryl Morey, revolutionized that position in basketball. Giannis is still around. I don't know. He flames out in the playoffs, but can he still make a case for top 5? I think so. You love Luka. You say he's the closest thing to Larry Bird since Larry Bird. Will he make a case for top 5 next year? I love Joel Embiid. And with a new coach named Doc Rivers, I definitely think if he stays healthy, knock on wood, he will make a definite top 5 case.
He did get them stomach issues resolved.
Jamal Murray, Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell.
Skip.
Are they all coming? Are they coming for you in top 5? Yes, they are.
Skip. All those guys. I mean, KD, no question. I believe KD will be top 5. And Giannis and Steph and James Harden.
And I saved the best for last. There's a guy in the basement who got overshadowed by the COVID championship that you just won, that cubic zirconia ring that you just won.
Like that big crown he had.
His name is Kawhi Leonard. And he will take over Kawhi Town again next year.
I just want to know, why was the disrespect not as loud as the adulation and praise that you gave Kawhi for winning the title? So was that a full title that he won in Toronto? Because LeBron was in the East, was in the West. There was no Kevin Durant was injured. Klay Thompson was injured. So is that a full title that he won?
LeBron was in the West, but he went 28 and 27 that year and had a blooper reel.
Okay, what about that?
Show for it.
What about that blooper reel game 5, 6, and 7 for your guy Kawhi? The 2 points that he scored in the fourth quarter in a game, in the second half in a game 7. My guy had the highest scoring averages in game 7 in NBA history at 35. Your guy got 2 points in the second half. He was awful.
What about my guy pushing my team out to a 16-point lead and a 19-point lead and then a 12-point lead in closeout games? Was that good? Was that blooper?
Let LeBron do that. Let LeBron have a 3-1 lead and have a 19, a 16, and a 12-point lead and lose it. LeBron James would have had to leave America.
Would he have been looking ahead to the Clippers?
No. Didn't Jerry Dudley told you that's what we wanted? Jerry Dudley told you that we been wanting them. All year long, they wanted us, we want them. We got to go to our practice facility and we see it. He said, well, we saw that, taking shots at LeBron with a little crown. Kawhi Town.
No mercy. Last year, Ezekiel Elliott signed a 6-year, $90 million contract extension that made him the highest-paid running back in the league. In the one game without Dak as the starting QB, Zeke wasn't able to carry the offensive load. The all-pro running back lost 2 fumbles against the Cardinals and now leads all running backs with 4 on the season. This season, Zeke is also averaging 16 fewer yards per carry on the ground than any previous season. So this is not good right now. Shannon, did Jerry overpay for Zeke?
I don't believe he did. Since signing that contract, Zeke is 3rd in the NFL in rushing, 3rd in yards from scrimmage, 4th in touchdown, and he hasn't missed a game. And he's also very, very, very good at pass protection, which is an absolute must if you're going to play running back and you're going to be an every down back.
Especially now.
Yeah. He might not catch as many passes. He might not get as many targets because he's going to be in the backfield protecting.
Well, maybe they'll just start him at left guard, right?
Skip, if you look at it, there are 6 running backs now that average an annual salary of at least $12 million. So that's where the market is heading. Now, none of them have approached, I think McCaffrey made $16 million. But for the most part, Zeke set the bar, and nobody was able to approach that bar other than McCaffrey. So the question is, $15 million versus $12 million. I believe... You believe that Zeke is making more than $6 million that he's overpaid because he hasn't given you the production that he gave you in his first 3 years.
Bang for the buck.
Right. So, but for me, I don't believe he's overpaid. I don't think he's Derrick Henry, but I don't think he's overpaid either. So for me, no, Jerry did not overpay. This is where the market was headed. Based on what Zeke had done up until that point, Skip, he was more than deserving of the contract that Jerry gave him.
So, week after week, I turn on my little TV, and I see Derrick Henry just bullying defenses. I see him averaging 118 yards a game. I hear Mike Tomlin yesterday say, it's like trying to tackle a Bud Dupree, his linebacker who goes, I don't know, 260.
Right.
and can run 4.5.
Yeah.
But it's like if he's carrying the ball and you're trying to tackle him, right?
And they talk about, oh, he's a 247.
No.
I weigh myself every morning, Skip, and I weigh between 243 and 245.
All right.
Are you telling me Derrick Henry is only 2 pounds heavier than me?
No, I'm not.
Exactly.
He's 260-ish.
Yes.
I'm going on my eye test. It pains me deeply to say this publicly. I just don't see what I used to see in Zeke.
Okay.
And I don't think you do either. So do I think Jerry overpaid? Well, you said, like, that's what the market demanded at that point. And I'm happy that he got him back from Cabo. And then I told you the rest of last year, he looked like he was running in Cabo sand. I don't see sudden anymore. I don't see explosive anymore. I don't see, oh, he's going to take it to the house anymore.
Right.
I don't see him run with what I call consistent rage. Even Rojo in Tampa, Ronald Jones, man, he's running so hard. Zeke used to have the greatest body lean I'd ever seen from a running back, where he's going to run through the brick wall whether you like it or not. And it was high contact, high collision, probably short career.
Right.
Abbreviated, but still, I don't see any of that anymore. Not enough. I'll see little hints, flashes here and there. But I thought Monday night, to your point, the game will be now in Zeke's hand. There's no Dak. His best friend is gone. He's going to dedicate the rest of the season to Dakota Prescott. I just didn't see it. Again, the offensive line's devastated, so I'm trying to be balanced about this and give him a break.
I think the thing also, Skip, the Cardinals knew that the Cowboys wanted the game to be in Zeke's hand. Because what did Pat Peterson say? We want the ball in Andy Dalton's hand.
Said it.
That's what I mean, Skip. We're talking about we're 5 days away from the game. And he says, we want Andy Dalton to have the ball.
Yep.
We don't want Zeke to have it.
So the game was briefly in Andy Dalton's hands, and then he escaped yet another blitz sack, and he stepped up in the pocket, and he gave a little pass to Zeke that traveled about 2 yards, and Zeke caught it and turned with it, and I swear to you, my heart of hearts, I thought he's gone for 20 yards right up the gut because nobody will be home.
Right.
And Budda Baker stripped him.
Yes.
Came from nowhere flying. He's the new Ed Reed, you know, like.
And think about, Skip, you do realize Budda Baker had rushed. He was engaged with the left tackle.
Totally understand.
He turns and sees the ball flips, and that's the effort that I'm talking about. That's the difference between, and normally good things happen when you have effort. Because guess what? Not only did he get the sack, the tackle, he punches the ball out, they get the forced fumble, and they go and score a touchdown.
Derrick Henry, 118 yards a game. Ezekiel Elliott, 69 yards a game. And I told you before, 109 the first year, led the league. He led the league the first 3 years in yards per game, and now it went down to 85 and 69. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I hope I do.
But, Skip, the thing that helps Derrick Henry is that Ryan Tannehill is playing unbelievable.
He is.
So you can't stack the box because...
But I think one led to the other.
Yes.
No mercy. Guys, teams have won everywhere Tom Brady has lived, and it's not just his own team. While growing up in Northern California, the Niners, Raiders, and A's combined for 7 titles. While attending Michigan, the men's basketball team and the NHL's Detroit Red Wings had 4 total titles. And of course, during his time in Boston, countless titles were won by the Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, and now less than a year in Tampa, the Lightning already won the Stanley Cup. Rays are in the World Series. It's Shannon.
It's unbelievable.
How do you explain this?
Skip, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. This is utterly ridiculous. So now, because when Tom Brady was born, the 49ers and the A's and these teams that were winning, he had something to do with that.
That's correct.
So he goes to Boston. Now, mind you,
wait, you skipped Michigan.
I ain't talking about Michigan. So now he's in Boston, and so although the Celtics had 16 titles before he even showed up. I just want to know if the Red Sox...
But it's been a long time, and all of a sudden they broke through and won again.
So I just want to know, can you tell me what did David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Pedro Martinez, Mookie Betts, JD, Dustin Pedroia, Josh Beck, did they play any role? If it was all... Because I can sure. Now, David Ortiz is arguably one of the best big game playoff moment hitters in the history of baseball. He went to the place and said, man, you know Tom Brady here now. You know what he did when he was in the Bay Area, the 49ers, when the A's, they started. This is utterly ridiculous.
He knew.
Stop it. Stop it.
Tom Brady is in our town now, so we got this. You know what? Tom Brady was the one that should have gotten the chosen one tattoo across his back when he was in high school. Not LeBron. It should have been Brady. I am the chosen one.
That's ridiculous.
Huh?
And so now, even though the Lightning, Lightning, won the Stanley Cup back in 04, 05. They went to the state. They lost to the Blackhawks in 15.
Yep.
Now they won it again. Oh, that's Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
And I give you the Rays. They're not anymore. The Devil Rays. Skip, because they have the lowest base of the payroll year after year after year. Okay, that's not what. But they did go to the World Series in 08, and they're back again.
Yep.
But stop this. No, Skip, this is ridiculous. Now, you know Tom Brady got nothing to do with this.
And right on schedule, the Buccaneers used to be the Succaneers, and they look like the best team in pro football thanks to Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
You ought to be ashamed.
It's magic. He's blessed.
Oh,
Joe Montana's face. There's a little kid somewhere
that
bringing us good luck.
That is it for us. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning. Have a good day, guys.